Oh my, if only people are actually nice to others and thought of others' time a bit more highly than their own. Well, that would make a whole lot of things easier in life for both sides actually. Alright, so Zeus Oranos against double Oranos on the Mediterranean in 2v2, game 2, the last one of the group stage. Division 1, between Gladiadores versus Titans and Gladiadores del Mythology. So we are having a look at Survivora at the very bottom. Seeing the Aurochs at the bottom, so potentially helping with the early hunt if the water starts to go awry for them. And the position for the dog seems to be pretty much okay. Probably going to be having some threesome very close by to the docks, so not any kind of problem for him at this start. On the right, we see more, starting also discovering the Aurochs. Going for the dock in interesting position, I would have to say. It's quite to the middle of the map. I would be much more liking it to be about here. It would be a much better spot, to be honest. This is basically, yet again, you can see that on the minimap, as they are quite close to each other, the red and teal, and they are going to be stealing fishes in the middle from each other. They are going to be naturally actually converging there, and that's not ideal. That's not something that they want, as opposed to the opponents, who are quite far away of each other, and they are going to be basically on the side of the water naturally going in there, with the middle being quite wide and a lot of room for both of them. So yep, that's the difference of the dock placement, and should be working quite much better for GDMs. These little things actually do matter in the early effectivity, and they are, or rather Medit and such is all about early game effectivity. You can see seeing that rather more is having interesting scouting right next to his home base, trying to get lay of the land. Just one of the oracles is in the forefront, far away from his own base, whereas on the left we see that Survivora is doing quite the opposite, having two oracles in the forefront with just one going to the back and scouting there together with the piggies. Platinum seems to be going also for some aggressive scouting, but we have seen him do that in the first game as well, so that's definitely his style of play. And otherwise in his home base I don't see really anything out of ordinary. Aurochs as well. He's in position of the gold right next to the tower, so not really any kind of problem at all. And unfortunately Survivora has found himself in a pretty bad position, with one of the oracles getting lower on hit points, which is of course a bit of a problem, as he won't be having all that much of an easy time of attacking the docks after the Valor with the Promethean and such. But on the other side, X-Platinum is already right on the doorstep of his opponent. One Oracle quite nicely hidden behind the forest, where he is almost invisible, like literally invisible to be honest. That's a very nice position. And I think that once he has full line of sight, he might be just seeing the town center. Not exactly positive, but it seems like that he doesn't really mind all that much. 5% building crush armor, pretty decent relic, and with the gold position, well, this capturing of the TC for Platinum will be meaning those two gold mines, which is definitely useful, and same could be said about the opponent, Survivora, and going to result into those two golds, possibly the third one, so definitely going to be very important. So far he doesn't see any gold at the back, which is a problem, but I would be expecting at least one. Either here, somewhere in there, or maybe even hidden in the darkness about here. Not exactly sure, but so far it's really sucky, because you can see that More is having basically the same map, not any kind of gold in there, so there are definitely going to be gold mines between them, as they are on the opponent's side. Yeah, very nice. We also see that the town centers are not going to be in water range. Would trickle as another relic on the map, with next one being 4. Building LOS, that's definitely a very nice one that shouldn't be underestimated. And yep, nice scouting by Adon. Would be liking it to be hidden somewhere in the middle. Definitely for some underworld passage a bit later on, but so far not happening, and we are going to be waiting for the next upgrades into the next ages. Yeah, you can see more champion having pretty good score. But just now dropped because of the advance. 14%, 70% into Athena, 30 to Prometheus, so that was the reason why More Champion was having just such a higher score than X-Platinum, because X-Platinum was advancing quite a lot faster, and really, this is looking from Survivora as Valor attempt, and going to be attempting to get at least one of the docks before situation gets problematic, but second is already coming up, and I'm thinking, yeah, it's going to be coming up from absolutely everyone around the map from more as well. And from the Geek player add-on also. 70% in. And a bit of idle, but not really for much. For too many seconds, it wasn't really all that much of a problem. So waiting for the Valor, whereas otherwise it's actually green convergence 7 as well. Doesn't seem to be all that much. Just moving somewhere to the left. Even Oracle in the middle as well, so he's not really interested in the raiding all that much. But Red definitely is, and where is he going to go? This is very nicely played by X-Platinum, because he's basically trying to protect the gold as much as he can. He has plugged the hole quite fully, and if he is under some kind of heavy pressure, which might be happening sometime, well, not ideal, but still, the damage is trickling in, as you can see, on the hit point bar. It's going to be easier for X-Platinum to defend, or rather delay, and get the towers up, and that will be definitely helping him enough, without need for any kind of extra army that would be needed. But right now, with the counter barracks, or rather military barracks coming up, and Murmillo as well, that's going to be it for those guys, as he's just waiting inside the building, so that he has enough and is able to surprise his opponent and basically put a stop to this early game nonsense. On the water, we are seeing basically equal battle as we would be expecting between the Ouranos on the left side, whereas on the right side we are just going to be waiting for Adon, who is already waiting with the heroes, and the Minotaur on the right for any kind of raiding to get the upper hand above more champions boats, because they are kind of course, squeaky and such. But I'm fairly certain, or rather, yeah, more champions should be using that maneuvering ability with much higher speed at 725 as opposed to just 6 from the Geek boats to switch from the left side to the right and basically going, or rather attempting to overpower the opponent through some good maneuvering, but so far that's not happening, and it's almost looking like that X-Platinum is also joining, or rather winning just by himself, but more champion finally doing what he should be, and that's with one flank going to the left and trying to overpower the opponent, at least for the moment, or rather for a moment, as Adon is definitely not going to be having any kind of shenanigans like that. Oh, this is a bit too early for restoration and not really needed. Second flank quite nicely going to be used to potentially raid the fishies. Let's see. Just trying to see if there's something to kill. So far not. And well, Adon is having a bit of a track with the heroes and the Minotaur to have a look how's it gonna be with the opponent's bases, and they can potentially kill some buildings or maybe even some villagers. They may be good. We can see some clumps on the right side of Teal's base. But that's actually an army, and a pretty strong one. So once actually Adon discovers this, he's going to be just coming all the way back to his home base, as this is not anything that he can be taken out at all. Yeah, those hero Murmillos, goodbye. Minotaur, as probably right about now, Adon is taken, or rather taken, with all the boats in here, but still he did find the time to bolt at least one of the hero Murmillos. Yeah, this wasn't really going to be a good battle for him at any rate. That was not a good bolt in that case, because he probably thought that he could somehow engage in the battle, but he didn't, and Mod Champion is doing what? Right now pausing, doesn't really need it all that much, but maybe, yeah, he doesn't need it, so he's probably just doing not sure what. Not sure what, so let's check around for example some upgrades. Nothing in here as we are unpaused even without asking. That's not really nice, but not really any kind of upgrades around the map. It seems like neither of the Ouranos is having anything special. Canter barracks coming up ×2 already, so there's going to be some pretty heavy raiding from Platinum coming into the red player, and red should be very careful pretty soon because he's already losing the water quite strongly. You can see there's not much at the bottom, and since this army is going to be killed very soon and Platinum is having just a huge advantage in there, I don't expect that this game is gonna go, or rather this water is gonna go for GVT side anytime soon. Yeah, this is just going to be waiting for the inevitable on the right, as Adon is going to be winning even without restoration, and restoration is going to be left for some normal land battle for them. More already switching into land, which is definitely a good choice, as he has recognized that the water is gone, but not anything like that is so far seen from either of the allies or opponents. but there is going to be, as we have seen a bit earlier, a bit of a raiding right now by Platinum, and Survivora is definitely going to be having a bit harder time getting the economy up, even though he is trying as much as he can. Building the TC at the back as well, and it's going to be just a question of time before the opponents are doing the same. But they should already be stopping with all the boat production, which they already are. You can see that actually Platinum is right now nicely housed, which should be resulting in a pretty decent amount of extra resources stockpiling in his home base, or rather in his stockpiles, of course. Stockpiling in his stockpiles. And that will mean that either he will be advancing soon into the next age, or he should be getting extra TC. Well, so far not really happening either of the things, but More Champion already moving for 30C, so he's definitely moving quite nicely, and he's already thinking that he can be denying his opponent in the front. And Adon should definitely be a lot more careful about this, because this could be a pretty big problem, as More is switching into land quite well. I have to say that Survivora isn't half bad either, and the first one from GDMs is going to be X-Platinum going for a second TC, and it's almost looking like that the front for Adon is going to be lost, because this army is already quite strong, and More is switching very nicely indeed, making the most out of the lost situation on the water that he can. Yeah, just basically making his opponents commit to it still. But Pursein coming in, upgrade for the fishing boats, but there is not any kind of extra boats being made from either GDMs, so it's going to be just up to the land in here. Yeah, that was stupid from Adon. That was quite stupid, because he knew that his opponent does have an army, so just going with all the villages in there without any kind of support, that was risky, especially since More already had two TCs. That wasn't all that clever, and he definitely paid for it, because those villages didn't do anything for quite a long time, and that's something that he cannot really afford at this stage of the game, where seconds are going to be counting, as Champion is taking yet another TC. Well, this is not going to help him, especially if he's going to be having auto queues in there and these idols on the gold, because he most definitely cannot support 40 Cs at 11 minutes without water, and that's more about having some kind of beachhead right on the opponent's doorstep and not allowing the front TC to be coming under the opponent's power. Still a lot of votes. I kind of think that X-Platinum should be already maybe deleting some so that he has more population for his land army. But with the army already in place from Survivor as well, the game is most definitely not going to be as easy as maybe GDMs thought. With Restoration coming into the battle in here, I don't think it's going to work. Because you can see the huge amount of Cairo Ballistas, and if More Champion plays this correctly and lets the Prometheans tank the battle a bit, those guys are definitely going to be getting rid of them. Oh yeah, nice shockwave, but the citizen is going to die pretty soon as well. So right now this battle is not going to be won. I think that Adon will be doing a better job retreating because of the Cairo Ballistas. They're just a too big problem at this point. But he at least did stop the TC for the moment, but citizens are already in there. So this is going to be a bit longer battle than maybe Adon thought. For the TC at least. Not really this engagement that was decided a bit earlier by the Cairo Ballistas. And I don't really think that was all that well played by the blue player, but at least he stalled it, and that was worth it for the moment. But the TC is still coming for the opponent, no matter what, whereas on the left we are seeing that Survivor is actually doing a pretty good job against X-Platinum. Trying to somehow stop the TC from coming in under Platinum's power, but I don't really think it's going to be lasting all that much. So once the Cairo Ballistas are dead, and with proper play, and Heroic Age of course in place already for X-Platinum, yeah, the Steam Birds and the Dryads should be turning the battle around reasonably easy. And they're doing a pretty good job right now, getting rid of the tanky Prometheans. And yeah, the battle is won right now for Green, and he is going to be pushing forward, but yet again, he should be getting rid of all the fishies that he can, and Adon is having all the population limit right now in pretty much the bad spots, so he needs to be careful about that as well. Not farm, villager. Ducks pickaxe, whereas green player is having what? Bowswanshaft mine, that's much better. and a lot of idols. Just now noticing them as well. But he's already moving forward into attack on his opponent, who is force of the gold. And yep, Jevin just because that's definitely not going to be enough. And basically, the importance of this position, or rather of this DC because of the gold, as we were talking about at the start of the game, is just confirmed because he's even forced of this gold. And there's nothing at the back. Nothing. Yeah, just this one gold mine. I'm thinking, the gold mine in here, of course. And that means that once this runs out, there's going to be a deep problem for GVTs. So TC finished, armory up, so there's going to be upgrade into Heroic Age from Teal. Into Thea, okay. With nothing happening on the left, in the upgrades into the next age, yep, they definitely should result in pretty strong advantage for X-Platinum, who is already taking a front DC, and well, to be honest, at this position, CZ so strongly into attack, oh, that hurts, that player, and he's having the advantage of the age, and maybe even upgrades. Let's check some units. Where you are, well, not really, just normal Murmilos. Well, would be expecting a bit better. But since it's the same for Survivor, it doesn't really matter all that much. He should have a pretty good chance at taking the front TC from his opponent. And that would be a better deal at this stage of the game. They are coming in as well from Survivora. And does he have enough push to kill the TC? 60%. He's not interested, which is a bit of a shame, I think. And with the towers right now, he doesn't have the push. There was a bit of a thought and moment where he possibly could have killed it. It would be pretty disastrous for GVTs, but he didn't in the end. He said he's going to kill the tower. And I think that he's really in a pretty good position to control the map overall in here. So let's switch to the right side, where it's looking like that More Champion is actually not having as much luck with the battle in here as he might have hoped. He's not really moving anywhere all that fast. The market right now dropped, so that's probably going to be mythic pretty soon as well. And well, Sky Passage. That's a rare sight if I ever saw one. And where is the other one actually? You can see that he was already helping at the bottom, at least with Dryads. And going for the TC just now, it's going to be way too late. Even though he's still having pretty good push in here. He should have went for it a bit, or rather gone for it a bit earlier. And the market is going to be resulting in Mythical Age as well through the Helios. And where is really the Underworld Passage? Called Sky Passage. Just one, so that's going to be probably built somewhere about here. And he's even not interested in the DC, he's just going flat on for Palace to steal the gold. And that's definitely a good idea, because we have seen there is not extra gold to be had for Survivora, and that will be a pretty big problem for GVTs very soon. So on the right, there is an interesting engagement with here again, those guys being a pretty big problem. And I'm still kind of confused why Aron isn't switching into Hippicons, because that's obviously the unit that is going to be needed, not only for them, for the Cairo Ballista as well, because of the Archaean and such as well. So I would definitely like that instead of, I don't know what, but since the Minotaurs are pretty strong in tanking and it's so far working, so why not? And it's not really all that bad of a choice. Probably going to be advancing to the Mythic pretty soon as well, as he's housed and everything. And Underworld Passage going to the bottom, of course, as they are going to be attempting to double with the Palace finish. Palace finished. To kill this part of the map, but well, yeah, that's of course unexpected for GDMs, as this Underworld Passage is going to be under some kind of heavy pressure, I was going to say. But with this Minotaurs actually doing a damn good job in tanking all the damage. Well, it's almost looking like that they are going to be able to survive this battle, even through the vortex of More Champion, as he's losing absolutely everything in here. And yep, this seems to be reasonably okay. But loss of the units is pretty big, and without any kind of upgrades, like literally none from X-Platinum, well, that's not really useful at all. I'm kinda thinking that this Underworld Passage should have achieved a lot more than they actually hoped for. And, well, it didn't really do that, and Hekagai gets coming in, and that's a big problem, because that's just Odysseus. And this guy is having 850 hit points, but there are still 2 Minotaurs, which are pretty good against mythical units as well. It seems like that the battle is at least momentarily won, and let's see if they are going to be able to secure this position. Probably not for Red. Maybe Turmas. Well, Good setup for archive, for heavy archive, why not? But let's switch to the right side, where we already see a pretty nice attack by more champion, who is going into the attack with both heavy archive on copper shields, copper weapons, but with the mythical age right now from Hephaestus into the Zeus. There is going to be the true shenanigan from him coming up, and since I didn't see all that many palaces, just two, already switching into fanatics, as he definitely should, because he will be needing all that against possible myrmidons and whatever units that the blue player is going to be making. But since he has absolutely no upgrades, he has just medium toxots, normal infantry, absolutely nothing in there. I don't see where is the advantage from the water. There's like none. And well, there's even a bit of raiding going to be happening from the red player, and that's going to be for Tartarengate, which is not really killing any buildings, but it's between the TCs, and that's going to be disruptive quite nicely. I don't think they are going to be able to reach the top, but they were definitely the bottom one. Unfortunately, Hekagai get the right spot, and that should be quite enough to deal with the problems in there. Well, Manticores coming in, as it seems like that there is a lot of wood, but not enough gold. And I'm really thinking that this is going to be all about the gold starving, because once the gold runs out, which is exactly now, there's going to be just one for the right side, for champion, and nothing really on the left for the red player. But he seems to be doing quite well indeed in here as well, as he wasn't able to somehow protect this underworld passage, and I'm not really sure what's right now going wrong for him. Well, he has to defend against Tartarengate, of course. But medium loss, at least copper mail. Whereas red player is right now going to be going for the front TC, and I think that he's going to be capturing it without any kind of problem. And underworld passage is going to be toast, which will mean that it's going to be 1-on-1. And let's see if that's going to be something that they will be able to handle GDMs, because I'm fairly certain that they won't at this point, because they have absolutely no upgrades. So finally mediums, but nothing in here, and there is absolutely no chance that he can deal with 4 TC. At this point, more can actually handle it. 20 minutes, champion, archive, bronze shields, copper mail, copper weapons. Yep, has not much of a chance. He could be handling it, unless there's a help and there's going to be counter somewhere else. Well, I don't think I agree with this. Even though I see the thinking that he wanted just to retreat back to safety from the threat to all the archive. He did have enough army, he did have 5 siphons to go to the left and basically help Survivora in an attack in there. Because you can see he's having a pretty nice push, and that would be a pretty big problem. Because was transporting everything to the right side and he wouldn't be having any kind of population limit for the left. That was really wasted by Moore. That was a chance to basically close the game right there, but he didn't choose to do so. And the gold is running out, and trade needs to be set up for all of these players sooner rather than later. But still, it doesn't really look like that they are going to be needing it all that much, with all the upgrades that Moore is having and all the extra TCs. And with having just... Why are you building Hippa's Fists against all this? This is just going back like 5 or 10 minutes, maybe even, where I was mentioning the Hippicons. Yes, these should have already been made by for 10 minutes. That's going to lose him the game, I'm afraid, for Adon. Because there's just literally one stable? Yeah. What? You are having one stable, 4 military barracks, double archery range. Well, of course you are not going to be winning this battle. Through that, he's doing definitely a good job. And we are definitely missing some mythic units in the Relakovo side, because they will be doing a whole lot of good job for him. But we are also seeing that there's going to be a bit of a problem with gold. It's looking like that the gold is out for the blue player as well. He's going to be running out pretty soon, and he definitely needs to set up trade very, very soon. And he isn't. Oh, ew, he's having... Oh, that's a GG. That's a GG in a few minutes. He's not going to be able to survive against Moore, who has all the gold mines on the map without any kind of gold, and he isn't prepared for it at all. You can see that he's not building anything. He doesn't even have markets. Oh, he's gonna land flat on the curb. Flat face on the curb. Oh, that's going to be absolutely horrible for him. Oh my. So let's click the gold in. That's going to be a timer for the game, because once it runs out, that's going to be a GG right there. As you can see that he's needing all the help from his ally X Platinum to survive in this battle, and it's not really working all that much at all. Even though X Platinum is doing a good job on the left, he's not doing a good job enough, because he's of course not having population limit to fight in here, and he's under pressure from Survivora quite nicely, building Sky Passage so that he can move also on the right side. Yeah, having villages there already. Sky Passage already done as well. So yep, that's of course a bit of a problem. And a pickle. Heavy Hypaspace, which is more for heavy Myrmidons, I think. X Platinum just losing the DC on the left, of course, and going for the gold. Yeah, this is not safe anymore. And this was just so horribly played, to be honest, by GDMs, that I am totally confused why this happened. So that's going to be the last. More X Platinum, but more champions still has one extra, which is probably going to be waiting for, I don't know what, maybe some vortex on economy at the back. But Survivora is going for a bit of raiding in here. Probably hoping that he can kill something, not exactly sure what, but he probably can kill something. So Copper Shields, Copper Mail, with just medium Turmas, which means also just medium Archive. Where are you? Here you are. And just medium Murmills, and of course nothing else, whereas his opponent's already having heavy Archive and just mediums in the infantry, which is not already all that bad. The Archives are pretty strong, but otherwise not any kind of extra upgrades, so still there's going to be a lot of fight to be had on the left. On the right though, it's not going to be all that easy, and those Cairo Ballistas are a huge problem, and I really cannot understand the logic behind all the Hypaspaces in here. I know they are cheap, so that might be the logic in there. But still, if they are cheap, just spam mythical units. You are Zeus. You can have, for example, yeah, those are, of course, Colossi could be good, but maybe at this point, Manticores would be better, because they dishing do good damage to an area of damage or area of effect, which wouldn't be all that bad. And you can see that on the water, there's going to be also a bit of an attempt to come back from more. And he is going to be getting rid of the economy of his opponents, because they didn't close the battle strong enough, rather well enough, and there's going to be an opportunity actually for GDMs. If they notice this, they could be killing the trade very easily through just a few boats, and well. Interesting indeed. On the left, it's looking quite equal between Platinum and Survivora. But since Survivora is going to be coming up for Titan, I'm not exactly sure that it's going to be working all that well in here, even through heavy Turmas finally. But no extra upgrades. Yeah, that seems to be pretty much okay. Slightly maybe into Platinum's favor, but so far he doesn't really have the push to go into full-on offensive on the red opponent. It seems to be going pretty much okay, but he should be taking care of the Siphon. Just now noticing that he needs to kill it as well. Whereas on the right, definitely good job by the Zeus of keeping himself still in the game, and he's switching into some much more better unit, Champion Myrmidon, and he's finally at least switching into trade. So he is going to be avoiding the GG that I was predicting for him. There is still some gold left, and the gold mine. This is basically the last lifeline for them. And if it wasn't for this last gold, oh well, the game would have been so over, but it isn't, and right now the Helipoli are super tanky, and definitely going to be a useful unit to be had. With the Colossi coming as well. The Titan Gate is of course a problem, as there's literally no counterplay for GDMs. They are going to have to just go through the Titan. And it's going to be, I think, all up to this attempt to get rid of the TC, and if Aron can somehow make it happen, then there's still a pretty good chance for them to go forward, because Survivora is going to be finishing with the Titan. There's really not any kind of reason why he shouldn't. And X Platinum going for Titans just about now. Well, oh, that's going to be a race. That's going to be a race if this Titan is going to be finished soon enough and is going to be able to walk half the map into the base of his opponent to kill the Titan Gate of his opponent there. Right now switching to the other side. As the situation is getting quite hairy for more champion, who is having champion Archive of course, and bronze mail, bronze weapons and iron shields already, whereas his opponent is having champions and all the irons from Forge of Olympus of course, and of course the extra upgrades, Aegis shield definitely helping against all the pierce damage from the archive, and well, he's just missing the population. He needs the help from his ally, exactly from the sky passages. Exactly like this. And they're also... Oh! How did GDMs let this happen, really? This is inexcusable. But since they are already noticing, Green should be noticing. Why Green isn't the one to notice? He has the 3 TCs. Adon definitely cannot spare any extra population limit. He just spent just as he is. But if they can take back the water, they are going to be potentially noticing the trade route, and that could spell the disaster. Now the disaster for GVTs. Right now, very important battle happening in here. Heavy archive with bronze shields from Survivora, whereas Green is having just medium destroyers baseline. That's not good enough, but at least he's having, I think, heavy archive as well, if there are some. But without any kind of heroes, this Colossus should be good enough, especially right now going into silver. But there's still Firebird with the extra attack onto mythical units, which is just now going inexplicably somewhere else. Oh, come on, can you do it, boy? Can you do it, boy? Can you do it? One more. Ah, he just couldn't. He just couldn't. And those Myrmidons. Oh, well, that's unlucky. But this Telepolis should be killing it. But that was like, really, about 15-20 hit points off the target. But this Telepolis is going to be finishing with it. But the Titan coming down to the left side. Let's see if that's going to be something that they will be able to finish with. Unfortunately for Blue, it seems like the repair rate is much better for all these, but Bellerophon is definitely wrecking his way through, but unfortunately it wasn't really strong enough, so next Telepoli coming in, and this is really interesting battle just about here. But I'm fairly certain that this Titan, I was almost worried that it's going to be a wonder attempt by Survivora, but so far not. He's finally moving to the front. Well, this is nicely done. Nicely done, and so is actually from Platinum, so this is going to be battlefield for the Titan, and of course here we see the last nicely played Vortex, and that's of course a pretty big problem, but Platinum was counting with this, but unfortunately I don't think that he has enough army right now. Oh, this is going to be a big problem. Oh no, nicely played by Moore, right now getting rid of the villages first. No, this is goodbye Titan Gate. This is not going to survive because Green doesn't have enough army and he just doesn't have it. So goodbye, and that could be just right there, GG. Wow. This is so close. Yeah, goodbye. Even though he was prepared, he wasn't prepared enough, so this is important, and this might be just spelling a huge disaster in here, because of course Survivora's Titan is going to be very hard to deal with for Platinum. You will be forced not to help his ally, but at the same time, the TC on the right side is right now off, because Champion lost all the army in here, and there is going to be a pretty strong claim to be had for Adon, especially if he can claim this Dryad tree. That would be helping him quite nicely. Oh, come on, you need to get rid of all the buildings in here. Oh, and you need to get this Dryad tree. Please, please, please. You need to send some army in there and get the Dryad tree. That would be such a huge help, the Dryads in there, against all the non-hero anything. Oh my. This is kind of 7 villages. You should be sending like, I don't know, everything that you have, all these need to be moving in there, because you cannot finish with this without extra support, extra heavy support in there, which is so far not really in the place. Goodbye. Dryad tree should be coming under his power pretty soon, but with the help right now from the red player, the TC is not coming up soon enough, I think. Yeah, he needs to be fighting against the TC champion Murmilos, still just bronze, and he is abandoning the attempt because he is not ready. But at least he actually lowered the pop for more champion, which is of course useful as well. As on the water, still not much happening, as more champion seems to be controlling it, and the Titan is down to like 3/4 of the health, which is definitely good attempt by Platinum, but this should also allow Survivora to quite nicely help on the right side, and that's a huge problem, of course. But without the TC right now, Platinum is at 2. Well, it's not like Survivora is better off, because he's losing 20 population to the Titan. But this TC, this is going to be all about the TC. If somehow Adon can erect this TC, he still has a pretty good chance for GDMs to go into some kind of nice late game, or having Bronze mail, bronze weapons, iron shields definitely could be improving in the first two upgrades. And well, that's a lot better on the villager count, 11. And he needs to protect this as much as he can. He needs to pull absolutely everything in here. Finally, medium hippicons. Come on, you could at least heavy to tank against all those archive, and this is looking quite promising for GDMs. Oh man, this is looking well for them. Whereas on the left though, it's not looking all that great for X-Platinum, of course. It's going to be switching momentum, and this could be turning the battle around quite strongly. Just a shame that they actually threw away. The underworld passage, but still they have the sky passage, so potential for help is there. But Survivora needs to be able to finish with the TC, because once he does, X-Platinum is going to be in pretty deep trouble. He already is. He's right now at just 1 TC, and I don't see how he is going to be able to deal with this situation. It's going to be all up to Adon if he's going to be able to finish with his opponent soon enough, but with tower spam in here, I'm not really sure that he can. It seems like that is his strategy. And there's really a big missed opportunity with the water. Killing the trade, that would be just deciding the game right there. As even though there is a trade at the back, it's still not strong enough in here. Well. The TC seems to be coming for Survivora quite easily. There's some kind of attempt by villagers of the blue player, but otherwise not really much that green player could be doing, as he's going to be finishing with the TC, maybe losing a few units in here in the process, but still the Titan is still at half health, and it's just a too slow process, and X-Platinum cannot fight at two fronts at once. So let's see if Adon can be pushing forward strongly enough. I'm kinda thinking that maybe he should be switching to the left and help with the Titan, because really the strategy from the teal player is kinda evident. They are just stalling with all the archers and such. So this is really too slow going. They should definitely be going back on the water. They should be attempting to finish with it. And really make some kind of landing or anything in the middle that could be disrupting the game of his opponents quite nicely. But still, 4 TC is coming up, and Kinin is just dead. He's just dead. Deader than dead. Even though Titan is gonna die soon, Platinum is gonna die sooner. Because there's not going to be any kind of help to be had, and there's not enough push for the blue player to be had. Yeah. Right now I'm fairly certain, really, that the correct strategy would be to go through the sky passage to the left. Try to retake the TC, and once X-Platinum was back, stabilized, and then he could be having a pretty good chance. Finally at least Bellerophon being sent. Rebuilding the TC, but you need the sky passage. Really. You need the sky passage from here to literally anywhere in here. Because this is going to cost also the trade route. Of course, they are going to lose trade about now. And yeah, it's kinda sucky. Still, there's some kind of chance, so probably GDMs are not going to be finishing with the game just now. Get rid of the sky passage also. Don't forget about it. Oxotas at this stage, useless. At this stage, absolutely useless, I have to say. So, well, he probably doesn't go for Hippicons because he's out of gold, I would be thinking. You can see that he's absolutely doing nothing from the temple. And, well, maybe even Manticores would be better than nothing. Because he obviously doesn't have population limit. I think he doesn't. It's kind of looking like not. More chipping go for Titan. And, well, once Titan is up and for him as well. Yeah. Then that's pretty much a deal, I think, already. But TC finished. Ooh, that's a bit of a problem. We're trying to take the TC in here, but well, we Survivora having all the guys in here, and just Turmas against heavy destroyers. That's of course not going to break all that much, and the towers are kinda too late because the guys are already in here. And really, X-Platinum cannot handle this. I don't really understand how GDMs are not picking up on this. How can he fight 1 TC against 4 in late game? How? That's not possible. That's not possible at all. Yeah, he probably should be doing that. And that was just a tactical mistake, I think, because they should have been defending this TC, which put Adon at pretty much the same stage, and then held on the left side, and that would be something that would... No, sucky map, sucky play. That wasn't sucky map at all. The map was actually a whole lot better for GDMs because of the gold placement and such. But the end, bad tactical choice. If he was able to help save his teammate, well, That's just a shame.
No. Yes.
Yeah, whatever.
Really funny from more. Yeah, I have to really laugh at this. Not being able to deal with a guy that is having 2 TCs once he's having 4. And on top of that, he has all the upgrades, whereas his opponent has literally none. Yeah, that's not an expert material right there, really. Well, no point really talking too more. He has no idea of what a good gameplay is, so let's just leave it at that and let's have a look at the post game with the score even for him. Yeah, he was doing a nice boom in the early game. That was definitely underestimated by GDMs who were hoping that probably the win on the water, the easy win, was going to carry them, but they didn't. And well, they really let it go on, or rather out of their hands. And the unroll passage, that was just bad. That was just a bad decision from them. That was really just a bad decision by them. So, economy, of course, for him, that was from the very early boom, from the 3 TC, so of course it carried on. And of course, because they weren't forced off the water all that much, they lost the water, but they didn't lose the economy on it, which definitely played a big role in them being able to boom so nicely. And GDMs, not really, because they didn't really expect anything like that at all. Well, and he passed piss in there. Well, that was probably just because he didn't have all that much gold, so he wanted at least something, and he piss are not half bad against all the Murmilos and such. Well then, GG.